Hey guys, this is Shreyas and welcome back to another video. So my last video was about the Pixel 4a and its long-term review, especially in India, because the pricing is different and the smartphone landscape in India is pretty different as well. So I put my thoughts forward in that particular video. By the way, if you haven't watched it, it should pop up in a card or will be linked in the description below. But one thing I mentioned throughout that video in some way or the other is that Pixel has a lot of exclusive features, a lot of software features. But if I would have mentioned all of them in one particular video, it would have been an extremely long video and most probably no one would watch it. Not that most people will watch this video as well, but either way, putting that aside, I'm gonna bring you all the Pixel exclusive features you find, especially in India, because you don't find all of them in India, in this particular video. You can follow the links in the chapters as well. I will try to segregate it as much as possible. So go to your favorite part, check them out and let me know in the comments down below which ones you like the best, which ones would you like on your particular skins or phones, and why you like them as much. But before we move on guys, why don't you hit that like button, get subscribed and turn on notifications so that you know when I bring you a similar video in the future. So with that, this is Shreyas and let's check that out. Alright, let's quickly get to it. So I have been using the Pixel 4a since the day of its launch in India. That was kind of 2 or 3 months after the global launch mostly, which was already being sold in UK, US and other European markets. You know the price and the stuff around it, and if you want to know about my review, the camera review, long-term review, all of those will be in a playlist which you can find in the link in the description. So let me get started. Now this particular section I don't want to call as a feature because, you know, iOS being a competitive operating system for mobile devices, I feel it's kind of not fair to call it as a feature, but in the landscape of Android phones, I feel we can put it forward as a feature, and I'm talking about system updates. And it's not just system updates. You do obviously get the security patches fastest on the Pixel. You do get the Android platform upgrades the fastest on the Pixel and the soonest, honestly. These are Pixel exclusive. Given that your Pixel is already getting updates and it's not a very old Pixel like the Pixel XL or the 2 series. Not just that, you also get access to beta updates of the upcoming Android versions and their developer previews as well. Like I personally have used the Android 12 developer preview. I'm gonna use it as time comes and probably make similar videos so that you know about the upcoming Android 12 features. Another thing which is related to the system updates is something called as feature drop. After every Pixel launch, there are at least 2 to 3 feature drops for that particular year. With the Pixel 4a as well, there were a couple of feature drops back in December 2020 and March 2021. So these are nothing but a series of features that are brought down to every Pixel possible. There are some caveats in some cases which are mentioned by Google in that case, but Google Pixel 4a being one of the latest Pixels gets all those feature drops. And I'll explain those feature drops as we go down to the list of features as well. But all in all, your Pixel keeps feeling fresh. New features that come down to other Pixels also make it to your phone, and obviously security updates and Android feature upgrades are always a bonus to have. So now let's get down to other Pixel features, and one of my favorite ones and very underrated in my opinion is Now Playing. Now Playing is a very simple feature. It does keep the microphone on in some ways, and if you're listening to music in some bar or some restaurant or even in your car, you have apps like Shazam and stuff to search it and find out about the song, and even in Google Assistant you can search for a song by even humming the tune. But the fun part about Now Playing is that it all happens in the background. You don't need to activate anything apart from keeping Now Playing feature on. And the good part is, even if you don't have internet, it can search it later on when you do get access to internet. And now you can make YouTube music playlists out of your history of all the songs that are listed in the Now Playing list. Now that's something that got added as a feature drop in December 2020 and I really love it. And the best part is, on your always on display you can get a notification about what songs are playing and you get the details about it in every way. And if you play the song, it directly links to YouTube Music. I am using YouTube Music and I am a YouTube Premium user as well, so it's a great bonus to me. Okay, an interesting part of this are health features. Now, you might be wondering what can a phone do as a health feature, but Google has recently introduced that you can use your Google Pixels to do some kind of health monitoring. Now, it's not very fancy or accurate or can be used for medical purposes, just like how your wearable readings can be used. It's just a point of reference for you to be aware and for it to be good for you. So in that way, you can use your Google Pixel camera for doing a heart rate tracking. Now, how does it do it? It just flashes a light, and you can see over here in the example, in the corner of the picture, you can see the blood vessel kind of pulsating, and that's how Google Pixel uses the camera to do a heart rate monitoring. There have been past phones like in some Samsung S and Note series where there was a particular heart rate sensor at the back of the phone, but that is an additional hardware and that came in flagship phones as well. This feature to me tells that any phone with a camera and flash can have the ability to do things like very accessible heart rate reading, etc. So that's the beauty of this particular feature. So the next feature is kind of like a respiration monitor. So first of all, it uses the selfie camera, and you can use minimal chest movements to understand how your respiratory functions are, and it gives a detailed analysis of it after you're done, after it analyzes it. So you can try this out on your existing Pixels. This was a part of Google Fit. It's about 2.52 version and above only, so you gotta wait for that app update. And if you have the Mart security patch on your phone, it should be working, and you can give this a try. Now, next thing I would talk about is features related to the Photos app. Now, you know that the Photos app is like not a great gallery app, but it helps as a backup storage for all your photos. Now, Google recently rolled out saying that they will not offer high quality storage for all Android phones anymore post June 2021. But if you have a Pixel 4a, 5, 4a, 5G or any other older Pixels, you have unlimited high quality storage as well. So yeah, in a way that's kind of a feature now. So yeah, putting that aside, there are things that Google Photos editing tools can do contextually. Now, what do I mean by that? If you have something like a landscape over there, you get recommended filters. Now, if you have a landscape, the recommended filters are accordingly, like you can have some according to the weather and stuff like dusk, storm, etc. You can see over here clearly, and they are okay. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but if you are tweaking around and you do like the look of it, the recommendations are really useful, and I think some people can make use of it. Not just that, there is an amazing feature which just blew my mind, to be honest, which is portrait light. Now, portrait light is something you can do on any person's portrait, be it a picture clicked on your Google Pixel or from other and older phones. You can take an artificial source of light, place it in any direction, and the results will come out accordingly. Now, you can see a small portrayal of what I'm talking about. You can take and drag this particular artificial light source and light up the part of the faces. And the brilliant part is how the highlights and shadows are maintained as per your face contours and the other parts of your skin, your clothes, etc. And it replicates in the result. So I was really mind blown by this feature, to be honest. A very exciting part of the software features of Google Pixels are the cameras. A few things that I really like is, I have mentioned this in my other camera reviews, etc. as well, is the shadow slider. Now, you have a dual exposure slider. Usually every phone has an exposure slider only, which only controls the brightness of the overall scene. But here you have another slider to control only the dark parts of the picture, which are the shadows and not the highlights. So that really helps, and you get a live preview of the same, and you can take a snapshot accordingly. So I really love this feature. Another small thing is that you have a leveling option over here. Now, if you are taking a landscape or something, it will show you an angle at which your camera is probably tilted and give you a haptic feedback when you come to 0. And these are some neat things which will help you compose and probably get distortion-free pictures. Now, another huge feature I feel is astrophotography. Very few people will be fortunate enough to probably use it, but when you need it, the results are outstanding. Now, I have taken in very unfavorable conditions for astrophotography and I've got really remarkable results. 12.2 megapixel camera, such a small sensor, but yet out of a 4-minute exposure, you get brilliant outputs. So kudos to that particular feature. Now, the next thing is photosphere. This is again another thing which is niche and most people won't use, but there are few places and few memorable places I've been to where I've used this particular feature and I've loved it. I still look back to those particular photos and really like it. One of those are in Maldives, and you can see here another one is from a fort in Jaipur. So these are things that I really love about the Google camera. Now the next thing that got introduced as the December feature update was also cinematic pan. Now cinematic pan is nothing, it just records the panning motion at a higher frame rate and then slows it down. So it looks like a cinematic pan, as the name suggests. And it's a neat feature to have, and the results have been pretty good for me. You can have a look at some samples over here. Now the next thing that I felt really nice was an adoption probably from iOS 14, at least that's where I saw it first, where you can hold down the shutter button of the camera and it will start rolling the video. You can slide it to the left to go into hands-free video recording mode from the photo mode itself. You don't have to go to the video mode anymore. And not just that, if you're holding down the shutter button and the video is rolling, you can swipe up the shutter button or swipe it down to zoom in and zoom out as well. So these are some nifty things which can actually get you using the camera way more, and in certain scenarios only you will feel that this feature actually helped you get a shot. Okay, the next thing is again related to the updates. Now the Gcam which the Pixel 4a came with did not have most of the features I'm talking about right now, and that's the fun part. Because it's a Pixel, the Gcam updates which the future Pixels will also get will probably come down to the Pixel 4a, and that's what makes this even more exciting. You don't know which feature will come down, and when it does, it's almost like a fresh new camera experience. Now I'll come down to some battery features. Now I feel it is important, especially for the Pixel 4a, because it is the weakest in terms of battery even in the Pixel family, barring the Pixel 4 to be honest. But yeah, that's why you have something called as an extreme battery saver mode. Here you can only keep a selective number of apps running when you are in this particular mode. You can set it to auto trigger at a particular percentage of battery as well. So I think that can come handy, especially when you are traveling long distances or something like that. Another thing is optimized charging. It will actually take in your alarm time and charge overnight accordingly. The Pixel 4a comes with an 18-watt charger, so it's not the fastest out there. So even if you leave it overnight to charge, it will charge to a particular 90% or so at night and then charge fully till the time of your alarm. So that's something to maintain your battery health as well. So this is another great and welcome feature as well in my opinion. Okay, the next thing is the Recorder app. Now the Recorder app existed since the time of the Pixel 4 launch if I'm correct, but I loved it because the Recorder app got more refined and got some additional feature which makes it a complete experience now in my opinion. So obviously the live transcription of the Recorder app is absolutely amazing. You can search any word you have said and go to that particular part of the clip, not just in the transcription. Switching between the two is very easy as well. And now you can sync all this in your Google Drive account, and also you can access this via a web app or a website itself, which I will link in the description down below as well. And you can get easy access to it on your PC, be it a Mac or a Windows laptop or desktop. Now that makes the Recorder app a wholesome experience, and this is exclusive to the Pixel as well as of now. Another fun part of the Recorder app is whatever transcriptions you get by recording all from the Recorder app, you can directly export it to a Google Docs document and work on it. The little scripting I do on my videos, I do on Google Docs. So if I'm saying things out and it gets transcribed, which is absolutely amazing by the way, it hardly makes any error even in my accent. So I'm very happy about it. I can make minimal edits and get down to and my script is almost done by the time I'm done talking about it. Pixel comes with the Google Assistant, and in my opinion the best form of it. First of all, the animation is just beautiful. Like, it's the most non-obtrusive animation out of all the Google Assistant animations I've seen on my tab or on my phone. I absolutely love it. You had some features like squeeze to wake on older Pixels. Unfortunately, it has been discontinued on the Pixel 4a, 4a 5G and the Pixel 5. I do not think it will come to the future Pixels as well, but I would have loved to use it, honestly. It's not just that, the amount of system settings you can control from the Assistant is just mind-boggling. I use the Assistant a lot, and now the Pixel encourages me to use it even more because I can do small things like, you know, turn on notification sounds, turn off the always on display, search for a particular song, things like that. A lot of deep settings in the UI can be accessed and toggled with by the Google Assistant, and that's just amazing. And I love it, and Pixels make it even more accessible and easier to me. And not just that, now you have something in the assistant called as Google Routines, which you can trigger by saying good morning, good evening, good night, or you can make custom messages to trigger a series of actions by the Google Assistant when you say these particular series of keywords. Now you can integrate that with your alarm. Now you can like trigger a particular Google routine when you have a particular alarm. So for example, I can run my good morning routine when my morning alarm rings and I dismiss that alarm. So these are things which just reduces one more step. It's a very small and niche thing. I do not think most people will use it, but since I use it and I've been using it for a long time, I really find this useful, to be honest. Alright, now comes to Pixel stock experience, and the UI has a lot of features around it as well. Now there are few things which I really like if you are in the multitasking menu, you can copy any picture, text and paste it in any field when you want. You can see an example over here, and it makes it so simple. You don't have to use any screenshot, Google Lens, nothing. You can just do it from the multitasking menu and copy it or send it to anywhere you want. Another thing, small thing I really liked is the always on display animation. Now every always on display I've used, Samsung, Xiaomi, OnePlus now currently, when you switch off the screen will switch off for a second and then the always on display comes up. But with the Pixel, it's such a continuous experience. As you can see, the always on display, there is no screen off state. It just transitions into the always on display, and when I click the power button again, it transitions into the lock screen. Now these are things, small thing which I noticed and I really loved, and I hope that other OEMs inculcate it into their skins as well. Another small thing I like, and I've told this before a lot of time, is dragging down on the fingerprint sensor and bringing down the notification pane. I absolutely love this feature and I use it every single time, to be honest. Although this is a very small phone and it's easy to drag down the notification pane, but I use the fingerprint sensor because it makes more sense to me. So this was a collection of all the Google features which I could find specific to the Pixel. If you know any more and you feel that I missed out on any, you can comment down below and let me know. I will try to add it on in a later version of this. So I hope you like this video, and if you like this kind of video, drop a like again. And yeah, I will probably catch you guys in the next video. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.